Good evening and welcome to Clausen World. I hope you guys can hear me. Tonight we've had an unexpected rain shower, so everything is muggy and wet, and the mosquitoes are out taking every opportunity they can to dine on any food source they can get their little suckers on. So I'm going to do my best to make this as quick as I can without sweating to death and dying from some bloodborne illness from these mosquitoes. I'm in the shed because I am going to attempt a project I have not seen but once, and we're going to see if I can make it happen. I was going to propagate my grapevines in the fall when they go dormant, but I had an idea that maybe it might give them a better advantage if I propagated them while they were still green. So I am going to show you the steps that I'm going to take in propagating my grapevines. I have two different grapevines and I can't tell you what they are, but I have the names over there in the corner. As y'all can see, my shed is pretty full of stuff. But I'll get those names and I will tell you what they are in just a moment, and then we're going to get started. Okay. Oh, it is very warm in here, you guys. All right. The first grape is a Seedless Marquis. It is a green grape. Can you guys see that? And I'm so excited that they were seedless. I don't know why, but I was thinking that they were, that they had seeds. So I'm glad. I'm very surprised, and I'm happy for that surprise. But again, this is an edible garden to table fresh green seedless grape, and it is called Marquis. The other one that I have out there, oh great, also seedless. It is a purple or red grape, depending on your classification of grapes. It is called the canadina. Yeah, that looks like it. That's about right. Okay, there we go. Can you guys see that? So those are the two grapevines I am going to be propagating today to the best of my ability. I'm going to do something, like I said, I've only seen it done once, so I am going to attempt to do that. So let's get to that process. The first step is I'm going to put my clippings in a 5-gallon bucket. I'm also going to be giving these to a friend, and I'm going to be giving these to her in this pot. This is a, hang on. Oh, this is a 2-quart, 1.90 liters. This is a 2-quart pot. So I'm going to be putting hers in here. So let me show you what I'm going to do first. All right, here I have a 5-gallon bucket that I got for $3.99. It has a top, a lid. I'm going to take the lid off. This lid is going to be used later. It is important to keep the lid, so I'm going to keep the lid. If you can get a lid, if you'd like to try this at home, make sure that you can acquire a lid. $3.99. All right, now what I'm going to do is, grapes, they prefer a rocky, sandy soil. So I am going to take my drill that I have over here, and I'm going to drill a hole in this bucket. I'm going to drill a hole about maybe an inch from the bottom, just to make sure that it has a little bit of a reservoir. If you live in an area like I do, that it gets really, really hot in the summertime, you have like 3-digit temperatures, and it may be hard for you to water consistently. You want to make sure that your buckets have a little bit of reserve water until you can get to your plant, either early in the morning, late in the day, or skipping 1 or 2 days, but you want to make sure your plant has some water. So I'm going to make a little bit of a reservoir instead of what we normally traditionally find is people will drill holes in the bottom. I don't want to drill holes in the bottom because I don't want to lose that precious water that is going to be going to this grape. So I'm going to just take a look at this. There is a little bit of a lip at the bottom of here. So I want to make sure, I hope I'm not bumping you guys. I want to make sure that I stay away from that little bitty edge. And I have a drill bit here. And you guys, I am not the best at using a drill. So yeah, bear with me. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn this away from my body just in case I make a slip. And that way I don't drill into my body in any way. So again, you just, and I'm working on a bag of potting soil. So let me get sturdy here. Let's see. And I'm a little bit particular about how things look. So I'm going to try to make sure that I'm doing it at what I think the front of the, let me see if I can move you guys a little bit closer. There we go. I'm going to try to do it on what I think the front of the bucket is. Okay, so here I go. Let's see if I can do it. All right. Now with this particular drill bit, this is a 1/2 inch drill bit, and you don't need to put a lot of pressure on it. Just let the drill and the bit do all the work. And so I put a relatively nice size hole in the bucket. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the soil that's going to be in the bottom of this bucket. I'm not going to fill this bucket up all the way. I'm just going to put maybe a half, I think maybe even a third soil in the bottom, because they're not going to live in here. They're just going to stay in here until they get a really good root base, and I can put them out in the spring. So let me show you what I'm going to use to put in this bucket. All right, I have a bag right here that has cocoa coir in it. And this is just a reused bag. This is not the bag that came with the cocoa coir. This is just a bag I had previously over the last couple of years, and I'm just recycling it. So I am going to put some cocoa coir in the bottom of this bucket. I'm just going to open up the bag. I have a scoop in here, so I'm just going to use a scoop and scoop in some cocoa coir. And I hope you guys can see. And I'm trying to do this with one hand, making sure the bag doesn't fall, and oh, by the way, making sure I'm actually putting it in the bucket and you guys can see the bucket. So I'm actually going to put a little more coconut coir in here than I need, because don't forget, I am going to be potting up some of these clippings for my friend. So I want to make sure that I have enough coconut coir for myself. I hope you guys can hear me. For myself, as well as these little mini pots that I'm going to be putting together. So just putting the coconut coir in there. And I'm almost done. I just want to make sure that I have enough for the 2 pots that I'm going to be putting these in. Okay. And I have this propped up on my lawnmower, so I'm hitting the lawnmower and not getting the compost. Okay, one more scoop, and I think that's about it. Okay, so yeah, I've got about a third of the bottom of the, take that out, that looks like garbage. I'm gonna just show you guys. I'm gonna lift it up. Can you guys see that shadow? Can you see the shadow in there? It's not at a half, it's right there. I do apologize. This is where I hit my microphone with the bucket, and so my microphone turned off for a great deal of segment in this video. I did not want to disregard the video, so voiceover it is. Now, this is my bucket of sand. I am going to place 3 scoopers full of sand in the bucket. There are several plants that like a little bit of a sandy soil. My Meyer lemon tree is one of them, which is one of the reasons why I bought the sand, as well as grapevines. So I'm just going to put 3 scooperfuls of sand in this bucket. Now I know there are many different types of sand, but I got this sand from Walmart, and I think this is the kiddie play sandbox sand. Whatever kind of sand that is, it's the kitty sand. Okay, so I'm gonna put something else in this bucket. Now I have my coconut core, I have my sand. Now I'm going to put some plant tone. I was going to put some worm castings, but I realized when I looked in my worm casting bucket that I'd used all of my worm castings. So when I went outside to gather more, the worms had not finished eating all the food. So didn't get any worm casting. So I'm going to be placing this plant tone in this bucket instead. Now this plant tone is an organic fertilizer. It's good for vegetables, trees, shrubs, and a few other different items in the garden. And the reason why I'm choosing to use this is because when I put in my bare root grapevines that are currently in the garden, I noticed that when I went back and placed some wood chip on top, there seemed to be a lot of mycorrhiza fungi in that soil. So I do believe that this particular fertilizer does allow for the creation of mycorrhiza fungi, and your plant roots need mycorrhiza fungi. And if you're not familiar with what mycorrhiza fungi is and what it does for your plants, I am going to put a description in the box below so that you can read up on that for yourself. That way you are fully informed and you're not waiting for anyone to tell you what they think it is for. Now I'm going to put 2 handfuls of this fertilizer in this bucket. But remember, when you're taking clippings, your clippings don't need a fertilizer. I'm not using this fertilizer just for the clippings. I'm trying to get a very healthy root base. Now, I have a disclaimer. If you're going to be using a product that is very dry and dusty, please make sure you protect your lungs. You do not want to have any type of respiratory issues, not now or in the future. So I am going to just try to get rid of any type of dust that's flying around. I'm going to use my favorite trowel. To me, it looks like a heart. You might think it looks like a spade. But I am going to do my best to thoroughly mix up this soil to make sure that it has a good mixture of the sand, the coconut core, as well as the 2 handfuls of fertilizer mixed in well. And since there is a significant amount of soil in here, I want to make sure, like when you're making a cake, I get all the way to the bottom. I don't want to have just all of my products at the top, and when I scoop out the soil to put it in the pots, that my friend gets all the goodness and that mine don't get any. So I'm going to really give it a go. Now, I do apologize for turning my elbow to you all. When you use pots or buckets or big containers of any kind, when you fill them up with soil, they can get pretty heavy, which is one of the reasons why I try not to fill my buckets up with soil. What I usually do is I put either wood chip or leaves, and I've even put in reused water bottles. I take water bottles and I drill holes in them, just 1 hole each, and put them in the bottom to fill up the bottom of the bucket. And then I fill the remainder of the bucket up with soil. So you have less soil and the bucket is not as heavy. So I am just trying to mix up this soil mixture really, really well. Again, I want to make sure that with the 2 handfuls of fertilizer that there's enough fertilizer to go around. All right. Now I am going to put some water in this coconut core, but I'm going to do that after I fill up the little pots. Can you guys see how pretty and light and fluffy that soil is? Can you see the sand? So I'm just going to fill these pots up. And I'm going to fill them up all the way to the top. Because this soil is so light and fluffy, once I put the rainwater in, the soil is going to depress some. That includes in the bucket. The soil is going to depress a little bit. So I just want to make sure that I am filling these pots up to the best of my ability. Okay, almost done. Just going to give it a little shake. Crush up any soil that might be like a little ball. And add just a little bit more soil. I have enough to go around, so I can share. Okay. And just a tiny bit more in this pot. They're going to sit in this pot until spring, so you want to make sure that you give them an adequate amount of space to not only grow roots, but to allow their roots a little bit of room. And so this pot is going to give them that space. Okay, now it's time to mix up my soil just a little bit more, just in case. I'm not quite sure if I got all of the soil at the bottom of the bucket, and I want to make sure that I get that. I know y'all are tired of watching me stir this soil around, but it's important to make sure that your soil, if you're going to be building it yourself, that it's well mixed. All right, let's move on to the next step. I am going to be giving this soil some rainwater. As I mentioned, it has rained significantly over the past 2 days, and it was raining earlier, and I did put my bucket out to catch some water. Now, that piece that fell inside of my bucket, that was just a tiny bit of lavender that did die. I'm not going to fish it out. It's not going to hurt anything. And oh, by the way, if worms do crawl inside my bucket, that's just food for the worms. Okay, same with that piece. That was just a little piece of lavender. No big deal. All right, so I'm going to stir this up again to make sure that that water is evenly distributed throughout the bucket, and it's not just sitting in the center. Coconut coir does seem to hold water for quite some time, but I'm just feeling it to make sure that it does require a little bit of water, or if I'm done adding water. And I do believe that I could use just a tiny bit of water, since I haven't watered this coconut coir in months. Okay, so I'm going to stir it just a little bit more. I know, it's annoying. I do apologize. All right. Now I'm outside, and I'm going to end up taking clippings off of these vines right here. Now I do have a little bit of a blooper. Uh-oh, here we go. It's the blooper time. Okay, I hope it's not too bright. I had to go get a light, and I'm holding it with one hand, so this is going to be interesting. So what I did was I just snipped off the end right quick. I'm going to dip it in rooting hormone, and I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm just going to make a hole and put it in the hole like that. I'm going to do the same thing with this clipping. I'm just going to clip the end just a little bit because I had already cut it and I didn't place it in water, and I want to make sure that it doesn't go dry. Dip it in the rooting hormone, and I'm going to make a hole over here in the corner, And you guys should be proud of me because look at there. I have a label. Look at that. I got a label, y'all. Okay, now because I'm losing light, I am going to do this other one really quickly. I'm just going to pat it down like so. And I'm going to place a plastic bag over this to make like a makeshift greenhouse and tie around the pot with some twine just to make sure that it stays moist. And I need to do the same thing with this one. This is the green one. Yeah, this is the green grape. So let me get the green clipping and I'll be right back. You don't need to see me do that. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. I'm gonna cut the leaves and the tendrils off because they're not needed. And I'm going to leave at least 2 leaves on the plant. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Cut it right here. And this is a little bit short, but it's getting late and I am trying to hurry up and get in the house. So I'm just cutting these off like that, cutting off the tendril, snap that bottom off. I'm going to show you the pot. I hope you guys can see the pot. Got some leaves there. We're going to move that out the way. We're going to dip it in the rooting hormone, put a hole in the corner, place it in, pack it down. We're going to take this other piece and do the exact same thing. And I am very sorry if you all did not hear me while I was trying to video before. My microphone wasn't on like I thought it was. I must have knocked it off because I know I turned it on, but that's okay. I hope you guys heard me. So I just place it in just like that, pack the soil around, and I'm going to also put a plastic bag over this one, and I will put a snapshot photo of what that looks like at the end of the video. So I do apologize for rushing, but it is, let's see, what time is it? It is 10 minutes to 9. I have lost light, so it is time to get in the house. I hope you guys saw enough of what I was trying to accomplish today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you join me in the next one. Until then, goodbye for now. Okay guys, I felt some kind of way about rushing. I don't like to rush, but I lost track of time. Again, it was raining profusely outside. I couldn't get out there, but this was something I really wanted to bring to you guys, and I just so happened to be going to see the person I want to give these to tomorrow briefly, and I wanted to make sure that I had this for her. It was important to me. So I'm just going to take a plastic bag. This plastic bag is just a bag that I got from the grocery store. I've had it for quite some time. It was a bag that I got my vegetables in, you know, the fruit veg bag. That's all this is. And I'm taking some twine. Can you guys see that? I'm just taking some twine. My twine is right here. And I'm just gonna tighten around this pot with the twine. I'm gonna put a knot in it to make sure that it's secure, so that it makes a greenhouse. That did not work, so let me try it again. Okay, I think I'm just gonna have to cut the twine, and any excess I can always cut it off. So okay, let's try this again. All right, let's move that back. I have the bag, I have the twine, and I'm just trying to tighten it right up under that little lip of the pot. The goal here is to try to create a mini greenhouse to allow this to keep moisture, just a little bit, not a lot, while the plant is rooting. There we go. Put a knot in over there. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. I know you guys can't see me, but I'm going to do the same thing to the pot that's right behind it. I'm just trying to knot it tightly to make a little bit of a greenhouse effect. Uh-oh. I can't even see what I'm doing, y'all. So I'm probably not doing a very good job. Well, there we are. There we are. There we go. And then you just take the twine and pull it up to make it a little tight. So you just push it up like that. Keep it up off of the plant, like so. And like I said, I didn't do it right because it came loose. Let's try it again. See, things happen. I don't always get everything right. I make mistakes too. No matter if you're a new gardener or a seasoned gardener, sometimes mistakes happen, things happen. And I'm doing this blind because I can't see the other side. All right. And it feels like I got it. So there's that one. I'm going to push this one to the back like so. And I've already touched the soil. The soil is nice and moist. I'm just going to place this food bag over the top of these grapevines. And I really do hope that this does work. Again, I've only seen this one other time. Normally grapevines are taken when they are dormant, but I did not want to wait around for a dormant grapevine. I wanted her to be able to get some really nice root growth before the end of this season and hopefully keep it alive inside. She does have a mini greenhouse inside of her home, just like I do. And hopefully be able to keep this alive long enough to have a really nice root growth like you would see at a plant that you purchased at a nursery. And then in the spring, it would have a leg up on the actual plants that are already in the nursery, or the, what do they call? They're called the bare roots. And I'm just tying a knot around, I think that didn't cut a long enough piece of string. Good grief, Charlie Brown. Let's see if I can do it, y'all. Hang on. And I'm doing it blind because I'm working behind the pot. Come on. I feel like I am in this really bad exercise that you have to do, and you have to do it with your eyes closed or in the dark. All right, so I've tied the knot behind the bag and behind it. I'm just taking the twine and pushing it up, trying to get it up under that lip and creating a little bit of a greenhouse. And let me pull it back. I know you guys couldn't see so much. Excuse my mess. I am a gardener and I use my dining room table as my workbench, and I have been seed saving like a person who has lost their minds. So I've got seeds drying, got all kinds of stuff. But here it is. This is the pot. Excuse my work area over there, my work computer. But here's the pot with the grapevines in it. It has a tag in it. You guys should be proud of me. And so I'm going to place this down near, I have a little tray over there by the window, and I'm going to actually place this over by the tray and leave it there until tomorrow. So I hope this was a good video for you guys. I hope you could see what I did, and if you have grapevines or you know somebody who has grapevines who are willing to share some clippings with you, some green clippings, that you can attempt to do this. And if this was an absolute horrible video, I won't even bother putting it up and you won't see it. But let's see if it's worth putting up. So again, I do apologize for rushing this. I lost light because it was raining. I do apologize. So I'll see you guys in the next video.